Hey guys, this is Ritter SC2 bringing you another 1v1. This is a Zerg versus Zerg on Backwater Gulch, and it is between Sushi, the blue Zerg in the upper right hand corner, and Hydroponixx, the red Zerg in the bottom right hand corner. This was sent in by Sushi, I believe, and hopefully we'll get to see some good reactionary measures by the Zerg, as that's pretty much the way Zerg need to operate. You drone until you spot an attack coming, and then you pump out units as fast as you can. But the cool thing about this map is the Xel'Naga towers in the center of the map offer vision of your opponent pushing out of their natural. So we'll see which player tries to get control of those first, and because that's going to be the key to playing as Zerg, is being able to react when you see an attack coming. Both players are sending their Overlord scouts, their Overlords flying along, waving their little tentacles underneath. I've always wondered, is that how they propel themselves? Who knows? Who knows? But you can see Red is saving up for a spawning pool, so he's going for a 10 pool. So we might see a little early aggression, do a little poking in with lings, force some of that larva from Sushi to be spent. Or if Sushi fast expands, then, you know, maybe even finish the game right there. We're going to have to find out. But Sushi's going for a quick extractor, so we know he's going to get ling speed, which, as I said in a previous cast, is probably a good upgrade to get. But what I meant was a necessary upgrade to get. It's one of those upgrades that if you don't get, you're going to be left in the dust pretty quickly. And now Sushi is also catching up and getting his spawning pool too. Now Sushi knows where his opponent is. Hydroponixx is just chilling, droning. Both players are droning. Red is getting out his queen, which is going to allow him to pump out those larvae. And Sushi's getting that gas. Got to get that gas. The Zergling speed upgrade is 100, so you need to have gas, and pretty generally you want to stop getting gas after you get the upgrade unless you're planning to tech up even more. And his spawning pool hasn't finished yet. If we look down here, Hydroponixx just chilling there. Blue's drone is sitting right there. And Hydroponixx is throwing down a spine crawler, so he doesn't want to have anything to do with any ling harassment. He doesn't want any lings in his mineral line, as that is generally a bad thing. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of ladder lately. I don't really like this map. It's not one of my favorite maps. I'm definitely a fan of Tal'Darim Altar. I love macro games. Just something about them. It's exhilarating. But as we can see here, Red threw down his expansion. He's not planning to do any, not too much ling harass. He's, you know, getting a couple lings. Hopefully he'll take the watchtowers. That's going to be the key in this, you know, any sort of Zerg game. You're going to want to have vision everywhere. You want, map control is going to be key. Map control being, you know, having lings around the map scouting, having your overlords around, finding out when they expand, finding out what they're doing, when they're attacking, what units they're building so you can counter it. Zerg is the most reactionary of the races, so there's always going to be some reaction, regardless of what race you're playing, as far as, you know, what unit comp you need to go. But Zerg is going to be the most reactionary because you need to know when to build an army at a moment's notice, and you need to have that army out fast. As you can see, Sushi's getting Zergling speed. Red hasn't gotten it yet, but I'm sure we'll see it soon. And Red is getting double gas, so we'll see him tech up. We'll have to see what he goes. He could go for roaches, he could go for spire tech for mutas, or he could go for a spine crawler, another spine crawler. He's pretty worried about that. And let's see. Blue is still droning. Both players contending over the watchtowers. As I said before, they're pretty much key. And looks like Red has a little bit more knowledge of the map so far, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Red is droning hard. He's got 8 drones on the way, which, if we look at the income tab, he's only slightly ahead, but as soon as those drones pop, he's going to be... There we go. Yep, he's starting to pick that advantage up, getting further and further ahead. As they say, if you watch the GSL, tastosis drives home the point. If you're ahead, get more ahead. don't throw your units away attacking. Just, you know, sit back. If you know you can defend, you know, build more drones, get more economy. That's gonna help you most in the long term. And unless you scout an immediate attack, you wanna be preparing for that long term. But yeah, both players. Red is building 6 lings. Blue is countering. Red is building even more lings. It looks like both players are gearing up for an attack. Both players started their lair at pretty much the exact same time. We'll have to see what they have planned. Blue dropped down a roach warren, so maybe he's going to be getting roach speed, or he might be taking up to roach infester. Roach infester is pretty standard for mid-game Zerg versus Zerg. It's the be-all end-all. Mass roaches getting fungled. It's pretty entertaining. Blue massing up his lings here, and he's got 12 lings on the way, so he is I'm guessing that we're going to see an attack coming pretty soon. Red still hasn't gotten Zergling speed, so you know, that's a little bit of a negative on his part. He's going to be outmaneuvered pretty heavily by the speedlings on Sushi's side. But both players, or rather only Sushi, is spreading creep. Which in Zerg versus Zerg, it's kind of a, you know, toss-up if you want to, because your opponent gains the exact same bonus as you do. And, you know, you never know what could go one way. You know, to start with, your opponent could get to your base just as quickly. Although, not in this case, since Hydroponixx still doesn't have Zergling speed, and he still hasn't researched it. But he does have a Spire on the way, which is interesting because Sushi went for a Roach Warren and is getting a Baneling Nest. So if he just counters with lots of air, then it could be pretty effective. But Sushi, he's running in here, killing all the drones off. If we look at the income tab, or rather, overlay time. Look at that supply advantage by Sushi. And then if we look at the control R, he's killed 12 workers so far and 53 units. So as we can see, it's pretty one-sided at this point. It looks almost like Sushi has this in the bag. Although Red is still trying to defend. He's getting out some more lings, and he's got those spine crawlers defending his main. So it looks like his main is probably going to be safe for now. And his Spire is almost finished. So if he can get out those mutas, he can be pretty effective against the primarily, you know, ground army. In fact, entirely ground army. The only attacks that can hit air are his queens, and those are pretty much relegated to staying in the base. As we can see, Red has 4 mutas on the way, and Blue is mass expanding, taking the map. Always a good thing if you have a successful attack and you expand off of an attack while your opponent's trying to re-macro up, trying to regain what they lost. You expand to the map, and your economy can just explode. But Blue is getting roaches. I'm guessing he hasn't spotted the Spire yet. Nope, he doesn't. He does not know that Red has a Spire. So the mutas are pretty much as hard a counter as you can get to roaches, considering the attack difficulties that roaches have shooting up. And Blue is just scouting around with his lings, trying to spot the map. Red has 6 mutas on the way, so he's pretty devoted to his mutas. He's also getting a couple expansions. And Blue is getting the upgrade from the lair, which increases movement speed of overlords. So he's looking to maybe do some drops if he gets the ventral sacs upgrade. Or maybe he's just wanting some faster scouts. I don't know. But drops are not going to be very effective against mutas, which I don't know if Red didn't scout roaches either, so I guess he blindly went mutas, and it was a good choice this time. But now Blue has also thrown down his Spire, so at least he will have the necessary tech to counter the mutas eventually if it gets to that point. We might see the mutas outright win. I don't know. The supply favor is seriously in Sushi's court here. 48 harvesters to 29, so he's definitely got the economy advantage on him. But the tech advantage definitely would have to go to Hydroponixx at this point. Roaches are not going to be able to, do anything to this, which a trick I learned a while back, and it usually works, is if you spot that a Zerg opponent is heavily going into mutas, mutas are so gas and mineral heavy that you can almost guarantee that he has his ground force is lacking if he's got, you know, a massive amount of mutas. Which, if he runs into your base with mutas, it's pretty much a fair bet that you can beat him in a base race if you just outright go and attack his base, or at least draw his mutas back, so you can prevent at least some of that harassment. But as we can see, red is massing up the mutas, continuing to build more, not really harassing with them, which he probably should be. You want to be taking out mineral lines. You want to be harassing the army, especially now that he's spotted that it's roaches and lings. Blue's going to pull back. Good choice. He's got nothing on the mutas, but he could just rush in there and just attack the base, because running is really not going to help. What is he running back to? He doesn't have anything that can attack air. I think he should just go right in and attack his base. He was already there. He could have done as much damage as he could, and now he's pushing out, which pulling all those back was kind of a bad choice on his part. But he is getting out his own mutas now, and he is getting burrowed regeneration. Oh no, rather, movement speed. Ah, I'm getting my upgrades confused here. How could I do that? I don't think he has burrow yet either, so yeah. Doesn't have burrow movement. Getting out movement speed. Another good upgrade to get, usually. And yeah, he's just pushing in, destroying as much stuff as he can. Red is trying to destroy as much stuff as he can with his mutas. I cannot believe I screwed up that upgrade. Kind of a dumb move on my part. Red is taking out the Hydroponixx den, and blue is just sitting here. Come on, blue, do something, blue. If we look at the APM tabs, blue he's got a pretty big advantage in the APM department, but he's just sitting there with his, okay, there we go. He's dropping down spore crawlers. Dropping down spore crawlers at all of his expansions, hopefully. Does not want any muta harass, especially, you know, not at this point. You definitely don't want mutas flying around, and a couple spore crawlers can pretty much easily pay for themselves against mutas. A ball of mutas. A couple spore crawlers will wreck face, as it is. Red is building lots of lings, mutas. He's trying to destroy this roach army with his mutas. Again, mutas are really more of a harassment unit. You don't really want to mask them. It works in the lower levels because people don't know how to counter it, but you know, when you get to a higher level, you generally want a more powerful ground army, and just use the mutas to harass and take out as many workers as you can, which he is doing here. But he probably he invested a little too heavily in mutas. If we look at the units killed tab, red is starting to catch up. He's killed more units, but he still hasn't caught up to that 28 workers killed. That's a lot of workers killed. This is just a war of attrition, guys. Blue is ahead in workers by 2, and it's just back and forth. Red is continuing to harass with mutas, trying to take out as much as he can. Continue to build mutas. That's the only unit in his arsenal at the moment. And blue still has complete control of the map, so that map control is, you know, the mutas can at least cover the distance, but at this point he's so heavily entrenched. He's got spore crawlers at his natural. We should see him drop some spore crawlers at his other expansions now. He didn't rally these drones. Probably should have done that. And yep, there we go. Got some spore crawlers coming up at this base. Hopefully we'll see some here. And the mutas in his natural. And as you can see, although, you know, the spore crawlers are not like killing them outright, he's still killed 3, 4 already. This one has 2 kills. This one has 4 kills. So that's 6 kills already, and he's dropping down even more. So just a couple spore crawlers can pretty much end all that muta harassment. And then all blue has to do is just mass up more roaches, more lings, and just go and finish off this one remaining base of red. Blue is flying around with his Overlord fleet. Flying around. They're a lot less silly looking when they have speed. They're a little bit slow beforehand, to say the least. Muta's flying in, taking out the Baneling nest. We didn't see any Banelings this game. I guess maybe he was preparing to see red go for some Banelings, and that's why blue threw down the Baneling nest. Baneling versus Baneling, as Root Destiny said, is pointless. But you know, I find it entertaining. You know, when you're, it's all about the micro at that point. Baneling versus Baneling, Banelings rolling towards each other, exploding, lings attacking each other. Zerg versus Zerg is my favorite mirror matchup. And this is just as back and forth as I've seen so far. For some reason, Sushi built a new spawning pool, even though he had one here still. I guess he was preparing for the mutants to destroy this one.